Hi everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I wanted to share with you my order of summer blooming bulbs that are really wonderful for a cut flower garden or a flower farm. And there are a lot of wonderful summer blooming bulbs that are good for gardening, but which ones are good for cutting? And I'm hoping that the list that I'm about to share with you will kind of give you a launching pad to know that these varieties are tried and true for cutting, because especially when we talk about things like dahlias, some are really great as a garden flower, but maybe you might harvest them and their head falls apart. That's not so good for cutting. And so the ones that I'm going to share with you, you can rest assured are good for cutting, whether it be for market sales or selling to a florist, and I'll address that as well. And all of the varieties that I'm going to share today, I purchased from Longfield Gardens, and I'm just really on the Longfield Gardens train here, you guys, because, you know, they generously donated those 20 amaryllis bulbs to our local nursing home, and I wanted to update you guys that they did bloom in time for Christmas. I was actually driving out here, I was Christmas shopping, and I got a ding on my phone, and up pops a picture from the activity director at the nursing home with a picture of one of the residents with her amaryllis. I think it was the Magnum variety in bloom. And, you know, of course, for privacy reasons, I can't show you that photo, but just so you know, they did bloom in time, and I think it was really a huge blessing to the residents. And that was just a generous donation. You know, all I had to do was just ask, and they were like, yes, right away. And then what I also did was planted 140 tulip bulbs, which they also donated. And come spring, we're going to go ahead and harvest those. And I think what we're probably going to do is actually harvest them and give them to another master gardener to arrange and take to the nursing home, because I have a friend that wants to help out. But once again, those were so generously donated that really, henceforth for the foreseeable future, I'm probably going to purchase as many bulbs as possible from Longfield, because, you know, why not support that kind of a company that's so giving to those in need? So all the varieties I'm going to talk about today, you can find on the Longfield website, and then I'll probably also either do another video or I'll share somewhere on social media about some other farms I like to purchase from, because there's a lot of local farms that sell kind of specialty tubers that they've bred that I'm really excited about. So I'll try to share that in maybe another video or somewhere on social media. But for now, let's get right into this list of great summer blooming bulbs for a cut flower garden. So first up, let's talk about lilies. And what I already have here in the ground is Casablanca lilies, which is a white oriental lily. And then the beautiful stargazer lily, which is that classic pink one with the freckles in the middle, absolutely stunning. Everyone loves it and buys it right away. So let me share the new varieties with you that I'm really excited about. So the first one is called Rose Lily Aditha, and guys, please forgive me on the pronunciation of some of these varieties I'm new to, but this is the Oriental Lily, and it has layers of candy pink petals, and it's really great because there's no pollen, so the flowers are going to last a lot longer than a regular Oriental Lily, and they have a lighter fragrance. Next up is one called Rose Lily Tatiana. And you know, as I said, I'm a huge fan of the Stargazer lily, so I knew I needed to give this double Oriental lily a try. Now, each blossom has 3 to 5 layers of petals, so it really looks like several flowers in one, and it has that beautiful flamingo pink petals, and they're sprinkled with those dark pink freckles. Now next up is a variety called Mapira, and it's one of the darkest lilies that I've ever seen. Mapira has satiny petals that are deep maroon at the center, and then they fade to a burgundy. And they have beautiful orange-red stamens that really adds to the drama of the bloom. Next up is Corvara, and this is an oriental lily with rich fragrance and large, long-lasting blooms. Corvara has rose pink petals with lighter edges and a more deeply colored center, and I think it's just absolutely stunning. Now this one has a fun name and it's beautiful. It's called Montezuma, and it's one of the reddest oriental lilies there is on the market, with just a hint of raspberry and almost a iridescent purple. It has lovely black freckles and a fabulous fragrance. Now I'm also going to be adding more stargazer lilies to our farm and also gifting some to my mom. And you know, the stargazer is one of the most popular lilies of all time. It's loved by gardeners and florists alike. It has big upward facing flowers on sturdy 3-foot stems, and it's a long-lasting lily in the garden and in the vase. And the last one on my list is one I am so excited to get my hands on. It's called Salmon Star. And Salmon Star's petals have a brilliant orange stripe and a soft salmon pink blush with bright red freckles, and I just can't wait to use it in arrangements. So next up, let's talk about dahlias. And when we're talking about dahlias that are good for cutting, generally I like to stick with the ball type dahlias, especially for someone like myself who sells at a farm stand, or for those of us maybe that are selling market bunches. You really want a nice strong head that's not going anywhere, its petals aren't going to shatter, and you want a strong stem and a strong head. We don't want any wobbly heads. So the majority that I've picked are ball types, a few pompons, and then 2 are dinner plate dahlias. And I don't grow and sell any dinner plate dahlias, mainly because I don't sell to florists anymore. But if you did sell to a florist or you were doing wedding work, I wanted to include a few that are really popular right now and that are sure to sell for you. So the first dahlia is the oh so popular Cafe au Lait, which is the famous cream and pale pink dinner plate dahlia that, as I said, are popular for special events and weddings. And if you're growing cut flowers for florists, Cafe au Lait are hands down the most popular and most desired flower that you can grow. One thing, make sure you harvest Cafe au Laits straight into water to ensure that they hydrate properly. And I would advise that you spray both the front and the back with Crowning Glory so that they last longer in the vase. Now, something similar to a Cafe au Lait is called Breakout. It's a dinner plate, and it's very similar to Cafe in color and size, but it's a bit more pink than cream, and the center of the blossom has almost a golden glow. The flowers are a bit looser and more informal than that of Cafe au Lait, and it has thick, velvety petals. Now let's move on to the ones that I'm going to be growing and selling. And the first one is Stolz von Berlin. That's a ball type dahlia, and it's the perfect spiral of densely packed lilac pink petals that makes each of these 3-inch blossoms a work of art. The next one I'm going to be growing is called Joey Nina, and it's a ball type dahlia with high bud production. It has 3 to 4-inch blossoms that are deep raspberry pink with just a hint of violet. Now I saw pictures of the next one and I thought, I think I must try this. It's called Burlesca, and it's a pompon dahlia that may look a bit pink at first glance, but what makes it so special is the way that it also pulls in hints of peach, burgundy, and violet. So I think it'll really make an excellent bridge flower for mixed bouquets. Now, like other pompon dahlias, the tight 2-inch flower heads are durable and long-lasting. Next is a nice yellow called Boom Boom Yellow, and it's a ball type dahlia with 3-inch flower heads that are densely packed with cup petals in this soft primrose yellow. Next is one called Great Silence, and this one is a decorative dahlia, which I don't grow too many of, but it was too gorgeous to resist. And Great Silence is a beautiful 2-tone flower that from a distance reads as peach, but up close it's a combination of rose pink and gold. And last on my list is one that you've probably all heard of and probably many of you grow. It's called Cornell. And I don't think any flower farm would be complete without Cornell. It's a true ruby red ball dahlia that produces a large number of stems on an always reliable plant. So next up, let's talk about peonies, and I just love peonies. You can never have enough peonies. once they get established, they're so easy care. They bloom profusely for decades. And for me here in 6B, they really come on at a time when I need a lot of flowers, and that is Mother's Day. So the more peonies I can have, the better. And the ones that I have growing currently on our farm, which you might have seen before, are the Festiva Maxima peony and also the Sarah Bernhardt peony. But I want to add as many new varieties as possible, so let me share those with you. So the first one is called Bowl of Beauty, and this is a fragrant anemone flowering peony with silky pink petals that cup a pale yellow center. It's just absolutely stunning. And then I got one called Black Beauty, and this is a dazzling wine red peony, and its blossoms are packed with silky petals, and of course they have a wonderful fragrance. Next up is one called Bunker Hill, and this is a luscious double peony with rich rose pink blossoms. And each petal of Bunker Hill is beautifully outlined with just a trace of silver. Next is one that I've heard of for many years, and I've never got my hands on it, and now finally I'm so glad to have it. It's called Duchess of Nemours, and it's elegant, fragrant, and dependable, and it's a gorgeous heirloom peony that's still considered among the best double whites ever introduced. It has glossy foliage and tall, sturdy stems that make it an outstanding cut flower. Next is one called Felix Kraus, and generations of gardeners have enjoyed this classic French peony, and it was introduced here in America in 1881. It has lush, extra large flowers that are packed with raspberry red petals that display a silvery sheen. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Next is just a classic red, and it's called Red Supreme, and it's just a handsome, solid red peony with large, fully double flowers on strong stems. And I'm going to save the best for last, and this one's called Sorbet, and I'm so excited about this peony. It's just an irresistible triple-decker peony with alternating layers of candy pink and cream. It's considered one of the best peonies for cutting. It has strong stems and holds the flowers well, and it is deliciously fragrant. So next on my list, we can talk about gladiolas. And you know, I heard something interesting the other day that someone thought gladiolas were out of style and that they always had been out of style. And well, maybe I'm just out of style because I've always loved gladiolas, and I really love to figure out new and innovative ways to use them, whether it's just using a portion of the whole gladiola, floating it in a bowl of water, wiring it, or I just saw, Kiana Underwood, I love her as a designer. She just kind of removes some flower heads here and there. And really, if you see her work and how she uses gladiolas, I think it will open up your mind to embracing the gladiola as a wonderful flower to grow in the here and the now. So I do have quite a large amount of gladiolas on our farm already, but hey, what's 500 more? So I'm trying out some new varieties and I'm really excited about them. So I'm just gonna pop the images on the screen as I describe them to you. So the first one I'm trying is called Green Star, and it's a lime green gladiola, and I feel like I can never have enough lime green. It really always goes with everything. Then I'm trying one called Tricolor. This one has crimson red petals and a purple throat. Next is one called Vista, which has pure white petals decorated with violet, lavender, and deep purple. And I think this one has a lot of great potential. Then I picked up one called Zamora, and this one has pink petals and a pale yellow throat that's decorated with a big splash of raspberry red. And I'm thinking for this one, just in mass in a beautiful blue and white vase would be lovely. Next is one called Performer, and this one is a gorgeous velvety purple gladiola with just the tiniest whisper of white. Then we have one called Lumiere, which is a medley of hot pink, mauve, and ultraviolet. Next is one called Costa, and this one is a pale lavender in the center, and then it's a little bit darker at the edges. I really quite like Costa. And last on the list is one called Espresso, and it has jet black buds that open into a velvety burgundy red flower that are adorned with glittering white stamen. I think this is going to be absolutely stunning in arrangements. So that's really the bulk of my order from Longfield, but I did purchase one more thing called Crocosmia, and I purchased this really because of my grandmother, and she had Crocosmia all over her garden. I think she would refer to it as Lucifer. I'll have to do some research and see if maybe that's the common name. But it was kind of interesting because she's been gone for 13 years now, and my grandfather only recently passed. And it was about a year before he passed away. We walked around my grandma's garden. At this point, she's been gone 11 years. And, there's only a kind of a few things left. Some things tend to take over and then some things remain. And it was really interesting to see that the Crocosmia was one of the things that remained in her garden, a decade after she had passed. So I went ahead, I purchased 75 of those. I'm really excited to grow them in her honor, and we'll just play with them and have fun. Well guys, I think that brings me to the end of the video. I hope it was enjoyable to hear about some of these bulbs that I'm going to be growing this year. I'm actually planning to take up a large amount of the sod over in our driveway area to plant some of these. And for the dahlias, I'm going to be experimenting this year with leaving them in the ground. I've heard about my friend Jenny Love at Love and Fresh Flowers. She no longer digs her dahlias. She mulches them up with 12 inches of straw and then tarps them. And we are in a very similar location. So I'm going to do an experiment this year where I take the same exact dahlias, I leave half of them in the ground, and then those same varieties, I'll have a bed where I dig them up. And we'll see at the end of the day, does it work? And is it worth the effort of digging them up? Because I'm going to be honest with you, my least favorite thing to do is to dig dahlias. It's just really, I just don't like it. And so if I can leave them in the ground and still have dahlias, I probably would invest in a lot more. So let's see what happens. So my friends, whether or not you purchase some of these bulbs, I just really hope that this video brightens your day. I think we're all just craving flowers, and I hope it's wonderful to just at least see some flowers, even if it's just on a TV screen. So I want to wish you a wonderful day, and until next time, happy gardening. Bye!